Want to hear 25 remote work experts share their amazing strategies and processes for building successful remote work companies and remote team? We've got speakers from leading companies like Thinkific, Evergreen Profits, Dynamite Circle, and Tribe Theory, and more. Register for your free ticket now at www.remotebusinesssummit.com.
That's right, www.remotebusinesssummit.com. We'll see you there, November 18 to 22.
Woohoo! Welcome to Founders Connect podcast. We help lifestyle entrepreneurs to grow their business online and create a happier marriage.
Did you know that approximately 45% of marriages end up in divorce and 65% of all startups fail due to founder conflicts? Well, we're here to change that.
Each week we bring you an inspiring guest and practical tips to help you with business, relationships, and sustainable living. Now let the fun begin! Hi, I'm Cindy Pham.
And I'm Anthony Chansamuth.
And we're from Founders Connect.
Welcome to Founders Connect podcast. This is Anthony Chansamuth, and I have with me Jinny Oh. Now, Jinny, I want to say your real name because I love it. Is it Hyojin? How do you say that?
You got it perfectly. Most people screw that up, but you nailed it. It's Hyojin, yeah.
Is that Korean origin?
It is Korean. Yep. I was born in Korea. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, now you have a story, obviously, because you have an American accent. You don't have a Korean accent. So we will go through that in a moment. Now, Hyojin, you're the founder of Wandr. That's without an E, a product strategy and UX design firm. Wandr typically works with SaaS companies on product strategy from start to scale. Cumulatively, you've helped startup founders raise over $100 million, which is awesome. And you've lived in 6 different countries, which has really shaped your ability to connect with people and ideas. As a result, Wandr also boasts employees from around the world, currently at a team of 13. Is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
And they're all fully location independent, just as you are?
Yes, they are.
Amazing. So this is exactly why I wanted to have Jinny on the podcast and as a speaker on the Remote Business Summit, because it's all about remote work and the future of work and how things are transforming. And the other part that I really connect with is actually your philosophy around living a fearless lifestyle. That's part and parcel. If you're going to become a nomad or get involved in this world and build a startup and all these things that we're talking about here, you do need some element of fearlessness and learning how to navigate that. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
I'm just super excited. I loved reading some of your LinkedIn posts and some of the way you've gone about building your company. Why don't we start with the credit card story? Because that was really interesting. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, of course. That's one of my favorite stories and definitely a highlight in my entrepreneur journey.
All right. So for those who have not read the LinkedIn post, what was that about? And can you just take us back to that time? When was that actually?
Yeah, so I wrote a LinkedIn post back exactly 2 years ago, so October 2017. I was coming out of a really hard phase of my entrepreneur journey where I was in a lot of debt. Like we're talking nearly $250,000 in personal credit card debt just so that I can fund my business. I didn't have any savings. I didn't have a fancy corporate job. Like I was just coming out fresh out of a failed startup onto going to freelancing and then trying to build out and scale a team. And so money was always short. Cash flow was always an issue. And I maxed out every single credit card and loan that I can get just so that I can keep pushing my team forward. And October 2017, I finally decided that I'm going to write about this story and overcoming a challenge and kind of opening up and letting people know that this is part of the entrepreneur journey. I think a lot of people say that being an entrepreneur is this glamorous lifestyle. You can make your own time and live the best lifestyle or whatnot. But I don't think people realize what really goes on behind the curtains, all the challenges, all the difficulties that you have to go through and long hours and things like that. And I think it was the first time for me to yeah, for me, it was the first time seeing everyone's reaction to how much they're able to relate to that. And I don't think a lot of people speak too openly about all the shit that entrepreneurs go through. And so that really sparked a lot of conversations on LinkedIn, which got my post to over 20 million views and I think shared over 5,000 times.
Yeah, and that's really powerful. And I completely resonate with this, what your sentiment here, that, it's not something that a lot of people talk about, even though a lot of people go through the experience. We don't always jump in with, $1 million of funding from the get-go. A lot of us are just trying to work it out. Can you just go through that particular moment when the story actually takes place? So that was a few years ago. When was it? You wrote it a couple of years ago, but when did it actually, were you going through that journey and what happened?
The journey I started when I started the company, which is June 2016. And then I think I finally got out of this, I call it the dark time and the hurdles, right around the start of fall 2017, which is why I decided to write that post. So for a good year, it was just long hours. There were days where I did not leave my apartment and I'm still wearing the same PJs, when I'm working from 5 a.m. to midnight every single day. I think fall 2017 was when I finally peeped out of my cave and said, oh, okay, now I have some breathing room.
And so were you already, what was the team size? Was it just you back then at that time? Or was it already, you had contractors or you had team members? What was going on for you?
Yeah, 2017, I think we were right around 10 people, but I think most of them were part-time. I think I had about 3 or 4 full-time and then another handful that were part-time.
So you had amassed this crazy amount of debt. What was the credit card? Why did you come up with this credit card idea, and how did you actually utilize that to progress the company? And why did you choose to do that instead of choosing something else? What was going through your mind? Were you considering quitting the company, or was that never an option for you?
No, that wasn't ever an option, because I think for me, it was a calculated risk. I knew we were doing the work and money is supposed to come in. So it wasn't like I was blindlessly spending money and paying for everyone's salaries through my credit card. It was that we were doing the work, but there was, most companies that we were working with had net 30 or net 60 terms. So
Yep.
Even though I was paying my employees within, 15 days of them doing the work, I was not receiving the money for up to 60 days. And because we were working with a lot of startups, some of the startups ended up not even paying at all. So there was a bit of gap in the cash flow, and I want to make sure that I'm able to bridge that and pay my employees on time instead of, saying, oh, I can't pay you guys until the clients pay me. So that was why I decided to go the credit card route. And when your business is new in the US, I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but when your company is under 2 years old, the banks don't give you any line of credit or loan. And if you go through a third-party lending company, it's just an insane amount of interest rates. So
Yeah.
It takes a while to get that approved as well. So for me, the easiest and the quickest way to fund my team was credit cards.
You are listening to the Founders Connect podcast, helping lifestyle entrepreneurs to grow their business online and create a happier marriage. Now back to the show.
Yeah. And that's, like I say, if you use it intelligently and you're not spending like crazy, then that can be a wise move. And obviously that worked out for you. Now I want to talk about, just the courage, the decisions that you make. Sometimes other people will look at it and go, look, that's insane. Why would you do something like that? That's a lot of risk to take on. I think it comes, you have to kind of identify your own risk profile, and entrepreneurs tend to have a higher risk profile. And it's kind of like, well, I'm going in on the vision, and like you say, I've got a team support and all these other things that are happening. So that's just really, really powerful. For anyone who hasn't read it, I'll share a link to that particular post and give Jinny some feedback on it as well. I've already left my 2 cents, but it's just really amazing and really inspired for me to connect with you. So let's talk about pros and cons of digital nomadism. That's going to be the topic you're going to be sharing on the Remote Business Summit. And why do you feel that, first of all, what has remote work meant for you and your journey so far?
Remote work to me has opened up a lot of opportunities. For one, it gave me an opportunity to experience a lot of things that my peers would not have otherwise been able to experience. Being able to go and live in different places, experience different culture, being able to empathize with those culture and bringing that back into the work that I do. And then two, it's also given me the opportunity to bring global perspective to our clients by having a team that's remote. Although most of our designers are here in California, we still work with people from around the world. So I always like to say that, the most creative people aren't bound by 10-mile radius from your office. The most creative are those that they might be on the other side of the world, and you have to be able to accommodate for that if you want the best talent.
Yeah, 100%. And do you have an office in California, or is that everyone just works from their own spaces and things like that?
Yeah, we have a mailing address, and that's about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So do you have, culture-wise, you jump on Zoom together? Is there an annual retreat? Like, how does it work where you're actually building the relationships within the team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We spend a lot of investment in building our culture. So right now we're a team of 13, but we used to at some point be a lot larger. So we were right about 28 in size. So we did a lot of things to promote our remote culture. You're not seeing your teammates every single day. And this is a very team-focused type of work that we do for our clients. So we do, everything from different online competition. So we've got like fitness competitions. We do like send us your cutest baby photo competitions. So things that like really get you to know your teammates outside of work. So we have remote activities that we do, but we also make sure that we're investing in person meetings. These aren't like official meetings that we have, but we'll make sure that we get the team together at least like once a year. So right around July, we'll bring the entire team to LA. Last year, we did it for about a month. This year, we did it for 2 days where we come in, we learn new skill sets, we host workshops, have meet and greet with the teammates. And then outside of the July retreat, we also have like different meetings around the world ad hoc. So if you have more than 2 or 3 Wandrs in one location, we'll help fund your accommodation and flight to like meet with your teammates. So we've had retreats like kind of like globally. We had one in Bali last year, Colombia, Austin, Texas, Miami. We meet in San Francisco quite often as well. New Orleans, Las Vegas, Lisbon. We had one in Budapest. It's been a really fun and interesting way to get to know your teammates when you meet them for the first time in person. It's just like being a different cultural understanding. And it's amazing to see the reaction of your team meeting someone else that they've worked with for a while, like in person. It's just like very inspiring.
Yeah. That's something I think people don't realize is when you do build a remote culture, it is its own culture. And it's unlike, what you're used to maybe in corporate or, you walk into the office and there's a bunch of people in an office building. But even then, like, I remember being in corporate and the only times you would really connect with people would be, by the water cooler in the cafe or whatever it is. Yeah. And even then I would say I worked for HP. So we probably had like 1,000 people in that building, but I probably knew like 20, if that. So, it's just this argument that remote might not work because you don't get to have those relationships. But I disagree. I actually think if you do some of the things that you're talking about, you can actually build a really strong culture within the organization. So that's awesome. Okay. So
100%. To add to that, I feel like our team actually puts in a lot of effort to be friends with each other too, because we're remote, that when we meet with them in person or meet with each other in person, everyone puts in so much more effort to try to get to know each other on a personal level.
Yeah.
Versus like meeting someone at a water cooler and just having like, hey, how's your morning?
Exactly right. Cool. So we're going to talk more about you and your Wanderers. I love that you call them Wanderers. And so we're going to jump into Summit now. You're going to be giving away one cool prize for someone who attends your talk on the Summit. What's that going to be?
As part of our services, we do remote workshops. So for anyone who has an idea or you already have a software product, we help you work through those ideas and validate and really do an idea dump through a remote workshop. So it's a 4-hour consultation with myself and a couple other people from my team. So that's the free giveaway that we're having.
Amazing. Okay, so make sure you jump in on Jinny's talk. The website is www.remotebusinesssummit.com. Tickets are free until November 18 when the summit actually kicks off. And then we're going to be talking all about the pros and cons of digital nomadism. How many places have you been around the world already, Jinny?
Country count-wise, right around 50, I think. Yeah. Over the last 6 years. Yeah.
Insane. Okay. Why do you think it's important to talk about not only the pros, but also the cons of being a digital nomad?
I think so many people have this misconception about being a digital nomad that like you get to travel all the time and it's the best lifestyle. But, you know, in order to have that, you know, quote unquote best lifestyle, you also need to have a very rigorous schedule. So I think there are a lot of cons to digital nomadism that people aren't aware of, and they want to just jump right in because they see what they see on social media. And so there are cons, but as long as you anticipate and know how to handle them, I think for me, it's all pros.
There you go. We'll deep dive into all of that. If you want to check out Jinny's website or her team, it's wandr.studio, and that's Wandr without an E, WANDR.studio. And you've also got a remote CEO Facebook group. So if we go to Facebook and just type in remote CEO, that should come up and you can join Jinny and her remote CEOs. I'm going to jump in there for sure. So definitely want to invite you to listen to us on the summit. So anything else you want to leave the listeners with today, Jinny?
No, I mean, the only thing I'd like to add is to come join the remote CEOs group, especially for those who might be just starting their company remotely, or you already have a company and you want to scale it remotely. It's a great resource for you to come and talk to other founders.
Okay, cool. There it is. And we'll put links to all of these things in the show notes. And again, www.remotebusinesssummit.com, and connect with us and 25 other experts on how to build a remote team and a remote company most efficient and productive way. All right, we'll see you there. Thanks for joining us today, Jinny, and we'll see you on the summit.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. And remember to live passionately,
purposefully,
and confidently. Till next time.